So an incident happened in Ogun State where a student was flogged to death. The teacher flogged the student 164 strokes of the cane, and that resulted in the child's death. And it was said that the teacher bought a new dustbin and brought it to the class and warned the students not to break it. And jokingly, this boy said it was their money they used to buy the dustbin. And she got angry. She went to meet the principal, who gave instructions that she should flog the boy. She came back to the class, flogged the boy 164 strokes of the cane, and he died. Oh well, let's watch the video.
Everybody involved, all of you should come out. Now, the principal now instructed the teacher that he should discipline the students. This teacher went ahead and gave these children 64 strokes of the cane each. Whilst he was beating them, Ariyo started to throw, collapsed and hit his head on the floor. Ariyo was rushed to the hospital. Even before they rushed him, the teachers abandoned him there. Along the line, they saw that he was unresponsive. They took him and rushed him to the hospital. Ariyo got to the hospital. Ariyo don't die. Ariyo don't die. Ariyo don't die. Call the driver for me. Let's go to the now.
162.
Ariyo, bye finish.
Having watched the video, I would like to really hear what you have to say about this, because corporal punishment is now becoming a serious issue in Nigeria. I would like you to hear your opinion, but before we do that, let's hear what the analysts have to say about this.
This story went viral over the weekend. We had Joss Adetoun on the morning show over the weekend narrating the incident again. I mean, she did visit the family of Monday, may his soul rest in peace, in Abeokuta, and you know, she said that they had his corpse and they've just deposited it in the morgue as well. But you know, the Ogun State government has come into action, your governor, and let me read their tweet. They wrote, the incident which happened on Friday also led to the immediate arrest of the teacher, as the principal of the school, Mrs. Tamarat Onalakpo, was promptly queried for allowing corporal punishment to be used on the pupil against the established rules and regulations in the state. The principal was given 24 hours to explain her actions and why disciplinary actions should not be taken against her for acting against the instructions of constituted authority. Subsequently, a letter of condolence was sent to the bereaved family, commiserating with them on the sudden death of their loving son and promising to get justice for the family. The letter, which was signed by the permanent secretary of the ministry, described the late learner as an exceptional pupil who would be missed by his colleagues, the school, and the state at large. I mean, we also got a report over the weekend, I believe it was from the Academic Staff Union of Secondary Schools. I mean, saying that the student wasn't flogged 164 times, he was flogged 2 times, but they are going to go and meet the parents. So who did they get that report from? That's what we would need to know, because we did see that report. They haven't had a balanced story. They didn't hear from the parents, so how would they know the actual story? We want to hear that story again. But it's good that the government has, you know, swung into action and suspended the teacher. But this is the conversation about corporal punishment. As you heard from the Ogun State, you know, district, they're saying that corporal punishment is banned in school. The teachers have no right. I don't even know if there's any law in Nigeria that allows teachers to beat students in school. But let me take a reaction from a YouTube user. She's actually a teacher. This person wrote, Nigeria needs to move away from corporal punishment in schools. But the real issue is that our system does not encourage other forms of behavior management. For example, detention in Nigeria often doesn't work as intended. Students may find it enjoyable since classroom activities are rarely engaging, unlike in more advanced countries where classrooms are stimulating, in places where students look forward to sports or activities that connect to their future goals. Missing these events feels like a real loss. So again, we need to provide other forms of, you know, discipline. And I really admire that teacher's comment saying that, you know, we have to find other forms of behavioral management instead of this sort of corporal punishment.
All right, so it's almost interesting that following our conversation and debate last week, we see a real-life example of the damage that corporal punishment can have in schools. This young boy left his home, went to school, and did not come back home. Or came back home, was sick, and then passed on afterwards because a teacher beat him. Now, ASUS, that's the Academic Staff Union of Secondary School, have come out with an explanation saying, oh, the boy had been involved in an accident, so he wasn't feeling very well. He didn't reveal that. But irrespective, that's why we talk about corporal punishment. You will know the health condition or health status of every student in school for you to know whether or not to beat them or to inflict further punishment on them by beating them. I'm very glad that the Ogun State government has come out very strongly against this. I think beyond, and I was going to start by saying, first of all, our condolences to his family. I can't imagine the pain that his parents, his siblings, even his fellow students must be facing at this devastating loss. But I think beyond the condolence letter that was sent to the family, compensation ought to also be paid. They need to get compensation for, I know no amount of money can bring the dead back, but when we begin to pay compensation for things like this, maybe we'll see a reduction. And then if the teacher is found guilty, he must face jail time for this, because this is, at least, at the very least, I'm sure Dr. Bato, manslaughter, because even if he didn't intend to kill the boy, he did. And this is what happened. So why would teachers even want to take that risk of hitting a child and anything could happen because you want to exert authority through corporal punishment? This, in my opinion, just puts pay to that argument as to whether or not we should allow corporal punishment in schools or not.
That is it. Well said. I mean, over the weekend, last week, we had that conversation. I was advocating against corporal punishment. And people were coming for me. Yeah, you're right. People saying I should apologize. Apologize for what? Why do you have to advocate for violence against children? Dr. Abati.
Well, just to put this in context, there are two different versions of the story. The school is saying that what they discovered was that this young man had been involved in a motorcycle accident. And, you know, he was not too well. And then after that incident where the teacher, the head teacher, was saying, oh, she had bought big dustbins for the school. Then one student said, hey, is it not our money you use? Is it your money? That was what led to the flogging of the students. Then the students were required to identify the person who made that comment. Nobody said anything, upon which the woman now directed Mr. Elijah, Mr. Mzajo Elijah, to administer 2 strokes of the cane on all members of the class. And then this young man, who had been indisposed, you know, took ill. After 10 days, he gave up the ghost. It takes us back to that same argument about corporal punishment. The ASU statement is saying, oh, the boy did not disclose that he was indisposed. But how are you supposed to know who is indisposed, who is not, you know, in a good state of health? And that's the risk with corporal punishment. For a fact, corporal punishment is banned in schools in Nigeria. And I made a point, the example of a case study of Katsina State, that when corporal punishment was banned in Katsina State, it led to an increase in school enrollment because children who thought that they would be brutalized started coming to school with the removal of corporal punishment. Number 2, the Child Rights Act of Nigeria, 2003, adopted by more than 24 states now, you know, also says, you know, any act of violence towards a child is prohibited. That's what the law says.
That's what the law says.
If you are looking for the law. But you still find that this is a debatable subject. In many schools, you know, they still say, oh, spare the rod and spoil the child. So you still have corporal punishment elsewhere. But, you know, society keeps evolving. I think teachers have to learn from this to be more careful about how they administer corporal punishment. In this particular case, the state government has done the right thing by suspending Mr. Elijah to really investigate exactly what happened. As has been said, yes, it's an unfortunate incident. Nobody sends a child to school with the expectation that that child will die, whether it's through motorcycle accident or through flogging by school teachers. So relevant lessons to be learned.
Absolutely.
And our condolences to the family.
Having heard the analyst, I would like to really hear what we have to say about corporal punishment in Nigeria. If it should be abolished or it should continue to run in the system. Thank you so much for watching, and please do not forget to leave a comment and like the video and share. Thank you.